sometimes when you'll push people away because you feel like you can only understand what I'm talking about if you've gone through what I've gone through. And people who haven't gone through this, I don't care what you got to say. I'm not going to listen to you, and you don't understand me. You can say whatever you got to say, but you don't understand. You just talking, and you'll push away people because you ain't been through it, so you can't talk to me about it. If you ain't been through it, you can't talk to me about it. And don't get me wrong, I feel like there's definitely a level of importance to someone having gone through your experience and someone going through and seeing the things you've done, but it's not the end all be all. It's not just because somebody's gone through it don't mean they understand you. And so building on that, for me, like with people when you're feeling like someone has to go through what you're going through, that to me is a level of that's one aspect of a trauma bond. I feel like trauma bond, it may be like a topic in itself just fully, but just speaking right here to one aspect of a type of trauma bond is like shit. When you connecting to somebody just because I feel understood by you because you've gone through the same thing I've gone through. You've experienced this, I've experienced this. Anything sometimes when you're feeling like any type form of grief, if you've had that very similar grief, like someone who's lost a parent, talking to somebody else who's lost a parent, you can be like, oh, I get what you got going through. And it's just like, oh, I'm only going to feel understanding from somebody else who's actually lost a parent. And it's like, that's important, but it's not the everything. And because the thing is for me with that, you feeling more understood because that person has an understanding of you in that area. And I feel like sometimes if a person has an area of their life, like most people around me understand me in most areas, but it's like one or two areas that I always feel so misunderstood. At those points in time, sometimes we can put a lot of value to those areas. So if somebody come along and we feel understood in those areas, we can put a lot of value on that person. But the thing is, they may not understand these other areas that are super important just as well in my life. And I got buku people who understand me, but now I'm overvaluing this person because this thing to me has meant so much because I've never felt understood right there. And don't overlook those other things. So that can lead to you, one, having too much trust in somebody at one thing, and shit, even with that bond and that trust point, that person can end up manipulating you because you didn't put so much weight to that one thing that now what you felt like was understanding, you can have issues because of the understanding that you perceive you have right there. Like the amount of value that you put on that understanding can lead to that person now being able to manipulate you because, oh, well, they understand me. So if they saying something that's okay, it's like, nah, that person understand you in two aspects. But these other people who love you, who are there for you, who understand these other things, but they just didn't quite get these other things, they actually care for you. So, and it don't mean the other person, somebody who you meet can't, but don't overvalue those things. That's mostly what I'm saying. Like, don't ever take it like, oh, somebody can't come new understanding you and it can be so much important, but don't overvalue a few things when somebody understands you in 90 things. Don't put so much value to just 10 things